Yo, Elliot.
I have this question from our buddy Josh, who wants to know that if after several months of strength training he finds that he gets to a sticking point, should he switch to bodybuilding and then just keep alternating like that, strength training, bodybuilding? And if so, should he merely switch his rep set parameters from 5x5 to 3 sets of 8, or should he change the entire program? You know, it's funny that we like to differentiate, and I've done so too through my videos, between strength training and bodybuilding. You've got to understand a few things, that the end goal with regard to strength training and bodybuilding might be the same, but they complement each other with regard to being means to supporting one and the other. The best bodybuilders are also very, very fucking strong. And the most powerful powerlifters are also really, really fucking jacked. They're both doing powerlifting and they're both doing bodybuilding. It's all strength and it's all bodybuilding, right? The difference is that when you get to the elite level or you're looking to compete in one or the other, now you take a totally different approach. Most of us aren't going to get to that place where we now have to perform in a competitive fashion. So we can keep playing with bodybuilding and strength training. That's what I do. In fact, I'll give you a little bit of an idea of how I go about this. But if you get to the place where you need to compete as a bodybuilder, now you're gonna have to take different end stage approaches with your diet and the manipulation of certain exercise parameters. And the same thing with powerlifting or strength training. As you get towards the end stages of you start reaching to the point where you are about to compete, you start manipulating things a little differently in order to bring up weak points, improve your biomechanics, things of that nature. So of course I'm talking about bodybuilding and powerlifting. Now, for the average gym goer, guys like you and me, right? I'm not competing in anything. You're going to want to use a program that either within the microcycle or throughout macro cycles, there is an intermingling between the two because they are going to support each other. High reps and low rest intervals is a bodybuilding technique that will support you in getting stronger. I've experienced this, and of course there's scientific evidence that cross-sectional growth is going to support the load that your muscle can hold. You've got a bigger muscle, it can support more load. So bodybuilding supports your strength training. And the stronger you are, the more your nervous system can recruit the muscular fibers, the neuromuscular motor neurons, right? The more fibers it can engage through strength, the bigger your muscle will be. So it's kind of the same thing, guys. The exercises, regardless of if you're doing 5x5 or if you're doing 3 sets of 8, are generally going to be the same. If I'm working more on the size of my muscle as opposed to the strength of my body, I'm going to do squats, deadlifts, bench press, overhead press, and then I'll also throw in chin-ups, rows, one-arm rows, dumbbell rows, barbell rows, and then really the only bodybuilding exercise that I would do, the only time I do an exercise that's different from my strength training program to my bodybuilding program are raises, lateral raises. I don't see how lateral raises or rear delt raises, mostly lateral raises. I could see how rear delt raises support you in your deadlift and in your bench press. But really lateral raises is like the only exercise that I see not really necessary for strength development. It's kind of the only bodybuilding exercise that I would ever do. Now, leg extensions, like curls, pec deck, all that stuff, I think is purely, it's unnecessary unless you are going to compete as a bodybuilder. You really don't need to do pec deck and leg extension and leg curls. You need squats, you need deadlifts, you need step-ups, you need lunges. Do you understand? So the exercises are foundational. You really only need a handful of exercises. I think I described maybe a dozen exercises just now. You don't need more than 12 exercises. Manipulate the variables, either within the microcycle, meaning within the week. You could do strength training on Monday. This is kind of like a West Side barbell split, or how Joe DeFranco would have done it with his West Side for Skinny Bastard split. You do like powerlifting on Monday and Wednesday, bodybuilding on Friday. That's sort of a conjugated, hybrid approach to building muscle and strength at the same time. Or you can go from phase to phase. I wouldn't go any less than about 6 weeks or 2 phases of strength, followed by 6 weeks or 2 phases of bodybuilding. And then you'll see that they sort of support each other as you move up that ladder of growing stronger and bigger. So that's it, dude. You're on the right path, you're on the right track. Don't get too confused with all types of fancy exercises and exercise program splits. Just work hard and know what you're working for. Is it strength or is it muscle? And realize that they both support each other. Done.
Yo, Elliot,